Fear is a strange thing. It's invisible, weightless, but it feels heavier than chains. It creeps into your mind, whispers in your ear, and convinces you not to try. It convinces you to stay where you are, to play it safe, to wait for the right time that never comes. You can live your whole life surrounded by walls, and those walls don't exist anywhere except inside your head. That's what fear does. It builds prisons without locks and somehow convinces us to stay inside. Think about it. How many times have you stopped yourself from doing something you wanted because of fear? Fear of failing, fear of looking foolish, fear of being rejected, fear of what other people might think. Every one of those fears is imaginary. None of them are happening in the moment, yet they have the power to freeze you, to rob you of the life you could live. Fear is the most successful liar in human history, and the worst part? Most of us believe it without ever questioning it. The truth is, fear will always show up. It doesn't matter how old you are, how much experience you have, how talented or prepared you think you might be. Fear has a way of sneaking in. But here's the difference between those who stay trapped and those who break free. The ones who find freedom stop believing fear's lies. They start recognizing it for what it is, an illusion. Fear isn't a wall, it's a shadow. It looks solid from a distance, but when you step closer, you realize you can walk right through it. When you live with fear as your master, your life becomes small. You stop reaching, you stop daring, you stop dreaming, and slowly you stop living. But when you confront fear, when you step toward the very thing that scares you, something incredible happens. You feel alive. Your heart races, your blood pumps, and you realize you're stronger than the prison you built around yourself. I'm not telling you fear disappears. It doesn't. It will be there when you take your first step and your second and your third. But each step weakens its hold on you. Each step tells fear, I see you, but you don't control me anymore. And that is the moment the prison starts to crumble. That's when you discover the first taste of freedom. You don't have to climb a mountain to face fear. You don't have to conquer the world. You simply have to act in the face of it. Speak when your voice shakes. Stand tall when your knees are trembling. Try even when failure feels certain, because the moment you do, you learn the secret. Freedom doesn't come after fear leaves. Freedom comes when you walk forward while fear is still there. So ask yourself, how long will you let fear keep you locked up? How many years of your life will you hand over to it? How many dreams will you bury because fear told you not now? Freedom isn't waiting for you tomorrow. It isn't waiting for the perfect moment. It begins the instant you stop listening to fear's lies and start moving forward anyway. Fear is the first prison, but it's also the weakest. The key is in your hands. Safety feels good, doesn't it? It's warm, it's comfortable, it's predictable. You don't have to risk embarrassment. You don't have to face rejection. You don't have to wonder if you'll fail. Staying safe is easy, and that's why so many people choose it. But here's the truth most won't tell you. Safety is expensive. It doesn't cost you money, it costs you your life. Every time you choose safety over courage, every time you let fear dictate your choices, you pay with regret. Think about the moments in your life that haunt you the most. Are they the times you failed? Or are they the times you didn't even try? Most people can live with failure, but regret never leaves you. It follows you for years. It whispers in the back of your mind, what if? What if I had spoken up? What if I had taken that chance? What if I had chased that dream? The weight of not knowing is heavier than the pain of failure. Failure hurts for a moment. Regret hurts forever. Safety convinces us that it's protecting us, but it's lying. It doesn't protect you, it paralyzes you. It takes away the very things that make life meaningful. Growth, discovery, adventure, love, purpose. When you stay safe, you live half a life. You go through the motions, but deep inside, something feels empty. That emptiness is regret slowly building, quietly reminding you that you settled for less than you were capable of. The price of safety isn't obvious in the moment. At first, it feels smart, even responsible. You think, I'll wait until I'm ready. I'll try when the time is right. I'll step out when I'm more prepared. But the years slip by. The right time never comes. And one day you look back and realize the time you thought you had is gone. That's when regret hits hardest. It's not the failures you'll think about when you're older. It's the chances you never took. Ask anyone who has reached the end of their life what they regret. They won't tell you they regret failing. They'll tell you they regret not living fully, not traveling, not chasing their dreams, not telling the person they loved how they felt, not taking risks when they had the chance. Regret is the price you pay for believing the lie that safety is the answer. Freedom, on the other hand, requires risk. It requires stepping into the unknown. It demands courage. And yes, it comes with the possibility of failure, rejection, and disappointment. But it also comes with the chance of greatness, of joy, of living a story worth telling. The people who taste true freedom are the ones willing to pay the price of risk instead of the price of regret. So the choice is simple, but it's not easy. You can pay now with risk, or you can pay later with regret. Either way, there's a cost. The question is, which cost are you willing to live with? The sting of failure fades, but the ache of regret only grows. Safety promises comfort, but what it really delivers is a lifetime of wondering what could have been. Don't trade your future for the false comfort of safety. Don't hand over your dreams in exchange for a regret that will eat away at you. Step out even if it scares you. Risk failing, because at least then you'll know. At least then you'll be alive. The price of safety is regret, and nothing is more expensive than that. Failure. The very word makes most people flinch. We're taught to avoid it, to hide from it, to treat it like a disease. From childhood, failure is branded as shameful. The wrong answer, the missed shot, the broken attempt. And so we grow up afraid of it, convinced that failing means we aren't good enough, smart enough, or strong enough. But here's the truth no one tells you. Failure is not the end. It's the beginning. Failure is not a punishment. It's preparation. It is the training ground of freedom. When you fail, you learn in ways success could never teach you. Success is sweet, but it doesn't make you stronger. Failure does. It strips away your illusions. It forces you to face your weaknesses. It shows you who you really are when things don't go your way. And that is where freedom is born. Not in winning, but in learning how to rise after falling. Think of the people you admire most, the ones whose names you remember. Do you think they got there by never failing? No. They got there because they failed more times than anyone else around them, and they kept going. Every rejection, every loss, every humiliation became another brick in the foundation of their courage. Failure was their classroom, and they stayed in it until they mastered the lesson. But most people never get that far. They're so afraid of failing that they never even step into the arena. They stand on the sidelines, pointing fingers, making excuses, convincing themselves that they're safe. But they're not safe. They're trapped. Trapped by fear of failure, which is worse than failure itself. At least failure moves you forward. Fear keeps you stuck. When you begin to see failure not as an enemy but as a teacher, everything changes. You stop asking, "What if I fail?" and start asking, "What will I learn if I do?" That shift is freedom. Suddenly, failure loses its power to paralyze you. You no longer hide from it. You chase it because you know every stumble is taking you closer to strength, closer to wisdom, closer to freedom. Freedom isn't about avoiding pain. It's about being unafraid of it. It's about falling flat on your face and finding the courage to stand back up again. Each time you do, fear weakens. Each time you rise, you prove to yourself that failure doesn't own you. And once you stop being afraid of failing, you become unstoppable. Because what can anyone do to you then? What can life take away if you've already faced failure and refused to quit? The irony is this. Failure is the very thing most people run from, but it's the one thing that sets you free. The moment you stop fearing it, the chains break. You begin to see failure as evidence that you're alive, that you're trying, that you're daring to step into the unknown. And that's the essence of freedom. Not living without falling, but living without fear of falling. So let failure train you. Let it sharpen you, harden you, strengthen you. Let it break you open so you can rebuild yourself stronger. The people who find freedom are not the ones who never failed. They are the ones who learned how to fail forward, to use each fall as fuel, to let failure carve out the space inside them where courage could grow. Failure is not your enemy. It's your ally. It's the ground on which freedom is built. And if you can embrace that, there will be nothing left to hold you back. Courage. People talk about it like it's something you're born with, a gift only a few lucky ones carry, as if some people just wake up fearless while the rest of us are left trembling in the dark. But that's not true. Courage isn't in your blood. It's not some secret talent. Courage is a choice. It's a decision you make every single time fear tries to take control of your life. Nobody wakes up without fear. The strongest people you know, the ones you admire, they feel fear too. They're not immune to it. Their hearts race, their hands shake, their doubts scream just as loudly as yours do. The difference is they choose to move anyway. That's courage, not the absence of fear, but the decision to keep walking with fear sitting on your shoulders. Every meaningful moment in life demands courage. Speaking when your voice shakes, standing when everyone else sits, stepping into the unknown without guarantees. If you wait for fear to vanish before you act, you'll wait forever. Fear doesn't disappear. It lingers, it whispers, it tests you. But the moment you act in spite of it, the moment you say yes even though you're terrified, you break its hold. That's when you realize fear never had the power you thought it did. People waste years thinking they need to find courage, as if it's hiding somewhere out in the world. But courage isn't found. It's made. It's made in those small, uncomfortable decisions where you could hide, but you choose to step forward. It's made when you choose truth over lies, growth over comfort, action over hesitation. Courage is forged in fire, in those exact moments when fear is the loudest. And here's the secret. The more you choose courage, the easier it becomes to choose it again. Each act of bravery builds a muscle inside you. At first, it feels impossible. The fear is overwhelming, but you push through once and then again, and suddenly the fear isn't as heavy as it used to be. You learn that you can survive it. You learn that you're stronger than you imagined. And that's when freedom starts to bloom. Without courage, there is no freedom, because freedom demands risk. It demands stepping into places where failure is possible, where rejection might come, where pain is real. But courage transforms that risk into opportunity. It transforms fear into fuel. It turns what if I fail into what if I succeed. So stop waiting to be fearless. Stop waiting for a magical moment when you suddenly feel ready. You'll never feel fully ready. You'll always feel some fear, some doubt, some hesitation. The difference between those who stay stuck and those who break free is this. One group waits for courage, the other chooses it. They step up trembling, unsure, unprepared, but they step up anyway. And in that step, they find the strength they thought they lacked. Remember this, courage doesn't come first, action does. The act of moving forward creates courage. The moment you take that step, you discover it was inside you all along. So the next time fear shows up, and it will, don't wait for courage to arrive. Choose it. Choose it in that moment, in the trembling, in the doubt. Choose it and watch fear shrink into the background. Courage is not a gift reserved for the few. It's a decision available to anyone. And the moment you claim it, the moment you decide to move despite the fear, you'll taste freedom. Because that's what freedom is. Not living without fear, but living without letting fear decide for you. The size of your world is not determined by where you were born, or how much money you have, or what people around you believe is possible. The size of your world is determined by how daring you are willing to be. Fear makes your world small. Courage makes it wide. And every single day and every single choice, you decide which world you will live in. When you let fear lead, your life shrinks. You stick to what you know. You walk the same path every day. You repeat the same conversations, the same habits, the same excuses. Your life becomes predictable, safe, and small. It feels like protection, but what it really is a cage. You can decorate it, make it comfortable, even convince yourself that it's enough. But deep down, you know the truth. It's not freedom. It's not living. It's surviving. But the moment you dare, the moment you choose to step outside of what's comfortable, your world begins to expand. Suddenly, new opportunities appear that were invisible before. New people, new experiences, new possibilities. Daring is the key that unlocks doors you never even knew existed. You can spend years trapped in the same four walls, and then in a single act of courage, you discover an entire horizon waiting for you. Think of it this way. Every time you say no because of fear, your world gets smaller. Every time you say yes in spite of fear, your world grows bigger. That's the math of daring. And it doesn't require extraordinary circumstances. Sometimes it's as simple as speaking up when you'd rather stay silent. Sometimes it's trying something new when you're convinced you'll fail. Sometimes it's admitting you care, even when rejection feels certain. Every act of daring stretches the boundaries of your life, and with each stretch, your freedom grows. The truth is, the world doesn't limit you. You limit yourself. And you do it by letting fear decide your boundaries. One person sees a wall and stops. Another sees the same wall and climbs. One sees the unknown and runs back. Another sees the unknown and steps forward. The difference is not talent, not luck, not privilege. The difference is daring, and daring is not reckless. It's not about throwing yourself into chaos blindly. It's about refusing to let fear be the loudest voice in your life. It's about saying, yes, I'm afraid. Yes, this might not work, but I will not let that stop me. That is the kind of daring that expands your world. Look around. The people who inspire you, the ones who build legacies, the ones who change their lives and the lives of others, they're not braver than you. They just dared more. They dared to dream when others settled. They dared to try when others stayed safe. They dared to live when others just existed. That's why their worlds grew bigger, brighter, richer. You don't need to move mountains to expand your world. You just need to start saying yes to the opportunities fear tells you to refuse. With every yes, you stretch your boundaries. With every risk, you tear down walls. And one day you look back and realize your world is no longer small, no longer confined, no longer a cage. It's wide open, full of possibility. That is freedom. The kind of freedom that only comes from daring. So the question is simple. Will you let fear shrink your life until it's nothing more than routine and regret? Or will you dare to live, dare to risk, dare to step beyond the edge? Because the size of your world depends on it, and freedom only belongs to those who dare enough to claim it. We grow up being told that safety is the goal. Stay in line, follow the rules, don't take risks, don't stand out. Build a life that's secure, predictable, stable. But here's the secret nobody says out loud. Safety is not freedom. Safety is a cage that looks comfortable. Freedom is something else entirely. Freedom is living true, and even if it's not safe. You can have the job, the paycheck, the house, the routine. You can tick every box that society tells you will make you happy. And still, late at night, you feel that emptiness. That quiet ache that asks, is this really all I am? That ache is the voice of truth inside you. The part of you that knows you've been hiding. You've been trading your authenticity for acceptance. You've been choosing safety over yourself. Living true is not about being reckless or careless. It's about being honest, one with yourself and with the world. It's about refusing to pretend, refusing to shrink, refusing to live a life that looks good on the outside but feels empty on the inside. True freedom is standing in the mirror and knowing the person looking back at you is real. Not perfect, not fearless, but real. And that's the danger of safety. Safety makes you compromise little by little. You silence your voice so others won't judge you. You bury your dreams so you won't risk failing. You shape yourself into what's acceptable instead of who you really are. And before you know it, you've built a life that doesn't belong to you. A life that feels safe but never feels alive. That's not freedom. That's quiet suffocation. Living true is scary. It means saying what you really think even when it shakes the room. It means chasing the dream that everyone else laughs at. It means walking away from the path everyone else tells you is right and carving out your own. It means risking criticism, rejection, even failure, but gaining something priceless, your soul. Because here's the truth. Freedom is not about living without risk. Freedom is about living without masks. It's choosing to show up as yourself every day without apology. It's saying, this is who I am. This is what I want. This is the life I will live. And when you make that choice, the fear of being unsafe fades because the pain of being untrue is far worse. The world doesn't need more people playing safe. It doesn't need more people hiding their gifts, silencing their truth, or living small to keep others comfortable. The world needs people who dare to be real, people who risk living their truth loudly, even if it costs them comfort, even if it costs them approval. That is the only way freedom spreads. One brave soul at a time, choosing truth over safety. So ask yourself, what part of you have you been hiding? What dream have you buried because it didn't feel safe? What truth have you swallowed because you were afraid of being judged? That's where your freedom lives, right there, in the place you're most afraid to go. You won't find freedom in the walls of safety. You'll find it in the fire of honesty. You'll find it in the risk of being real. You'll find it the moment you stop living for what's comfortable and start living for what's true. Safety will never give you that. Only courage will. Only truth will. Only freedom will.